Yo, remember back on the bully when cats used to harmonize like, yo, my men and my women, don't forget about the D.
Hello everybody, my name is Eboni Johnson.
And I'm Sade Elizabeth.
And we are
Black Script.
And welcome to the second episode.
Yes, March is Women's History Month, as we all know. And we here at Black Script just wanted to discuss the greatness of Black women. And not only that, but also discuss them breaking the mold.
And we have with us on panel today Ms. Bethany Bonsu, who I will introduce. Bethany is a sophomore, poli-sci major, sociology minor. She is the executive director of NPHC, and she is a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
Also, we have here with us today Eric Washington. Eric is a junior, political science major. He's also the social director for WBAC, as well as the recipient of the Xi Psi chapter of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Day of the Black Man Award.
Yes, thank you guys for being here.
No problem.
Let's jump into this good discussion we're going to have. So, Black women in today, if you look at Black women in society, they are mostly portrayed negatively. You have negative stereotypes. You have the Jezebel. You have the well-better queen. You have, stuff that perpetuates this mold that holds Black women in. So, how do you agree with that statement? For one.
That Black women are portrayed negatively?
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so to some extent.
As we look at our past, though, I wanted to talk about the past a little bit. We see examples of like extraordinary Black women. We know Black women have always had to break the mold that's been set by society. I can think of like an Ida B. Wells or a Diane Nash we had in January. I'm trying to think of somebody today, and I was talking to Sade. I was like, Beyonce is the most prominent figure, I guess. But
Well, I can tell you one person for sure,
Yeah.
Loretta Lynch, who is actually on the verge of being confirmed by the Senate, the United States Senate, to be the first African American female U.S. Attorney General, which is like the highest law enforcement in like the world.
Mhm.
So I would say her for sure.
yeah.
Mhm.
With that question, what I was saying with that statement was, do you feel Black women today are, doing much with their power and their influence? Those in power and have influence, are they doing much to support the community?
I can't say no, and I can't say yes. I can say that I really haven't seen a lot. I'm not really familiar with Houston, Texas, but I know a lot of people who are from there have stated that Beyonce doesn't really give back to some of the poorer neighborhoods in Houston, Texas. Lately, she has been kind of mentioning them in her songs, but she doesn't really go back to those communities and give back. Erykah Badu is from Dallas, Texas. I really haven't seen her put in any work in some of the poorer neighborhoods in Dallas. So I'm not going to say absolutely no or absolutely yes, but I'll say I haven't really seen much work.
And Eric?
Yeah, so to some extent I can agree yes and no, but I think as if you focus on people like Beyonce, Erykah Badu, or the popular one to kind of call out at this day and age is Nicki Minaj, or just any kind of pop artist or music artist who's very successful, you kind of get that contention, that rhetoric that they're not doing much and they're not portraying, most times aren't portraying Black women well known. But I think if you dig deeper to lesser known women, kind of like the woman, was it Loretta Lynch you said? The woman that Loretta Lynch that Bethany mentioned, if you look at things like that, which people don't normally look at, you'll see a lot of impacts, whether it's not based on like a community, but basically for the perception of Black women. But as far as community goes, I think what happens when you kind of get out of a low-income community through your hard work or through a blessing, if you will, getting like fame and getting discovered for a talent, you just kind of lose the need or the desire to want to give back, even if that was their intention to begin with. So I think to look at women who give back, you have to look into communities and women who are making change, not on music charts and not on stages, but in the communities and in legislation and in college communities.
And then even with that, I know you guys definitely mentioned looking or examining the women in the communities as opposed to women on larger platforms. Just looking specifically at our past and looking at our present, do you guys think that there's a difference in the way African American women specifically are choosing to break the mold? Do you think, more women were doing it before or more women are doing it now? When you guys look at both the past and the present, what do you think the difference, really is between the two?
You can go.
Okay. The basic thing that I would see, just knowing from my history between black women then and black women now, was that black women then had a sense of fight in them. Black individuals had to fight, whether it be for their rights, or just to achieve platforms, or just to be recognized, or to be given awareness. And I think black women had a fight within them. Now what you see, sort of kind of a revolutionary kind of mindset and kind of rhetoric or action that you see. But still, I guess comparatively speaking, it's not as much fight compared, because there's a lot more action back then. Just because there had to be, we were as people, as black individuals, so cooped up into this corner that we had to fight our way out. Now that we have a little more freedom, and obviously it's arguable, of course, with all the injustices we still see today, it's arguable that we're still in that corner. But just for certain things like being here at A&M, you wouldn't see people like us here at A&M. So just going with that rhetoric, that we have a little bit more leeway, a little more room to fight. There's not as much fight within us. And I think that's the main difference.
I will disagree a little bit, just because I do feel like black women do have fight. I think that there's just so many things that distract us. We may not know certain leaders who have really tried to speak up about an issue or have tried to overcome an obstacle, because we have so many things like, Desperate Housewives of Atlanta or Love and Hip Hop, that other, stuff like Sorority Sisters, that show, things that kind of distract us from really, I guess, like the goodness of being a black woman, or, how black women have contribute well to society, So I think that, it's not necessarily that the fight has diminished or even increased. I just think that maybe because of the generation that we have now, there are just things that catch people's attention a little bit more. People are going to look at, more of people like, I want to say Wendy Williams, because I don't particularly like her, but people are going to probably look at Wendy Williams more, or Nicki Minaj, what Nicki Minaj has done that, isn't necessarily appropriate, rather than look at people like, Loretta Lynch, or what Alicia Keys is doing, or, even the good that Beyonce, the good message Beyonce is giving in her, songs and messages that people would say are too sexualized.
We're going to kind of focus on you a little bit, Eric. We have a good question for the male in the room.
Okay.
How, as a black male, are you aiding black women in overcoming social pressures?
A lot of black men should do, or men period should do, in regards to women's issues, is support and stand by the side, because what black women are trying to do in their issues is not necessarily do it themselves, in my opinion, but they're trying to make their issues in light. They're trying to make light of their issues, and I feel like when men are always possibly being too supportive or always adding contention or rhetoric to it, it tends to kind of take away from what women are trying to do, because there's still many opportunities for women to make change.
Practicals that you think women can incorporate into their everyday lives to ensure that they are breaking the mold, being able to successfully get past the stereotypes that we talked about in the beginning?
Okay, well, for one thing, as a black person in general, get your education, because there are definitely not a lot of us in universities. There are a lot of us that are in prison, and on death row. A lot of more so men, but as being black, definitely get your education. And you know, I would say like women. I feel like black women, at least on this campus, are taking leadership roles, but go out to the community because there are a lot of children, girls that need some kind of mentorship, that need some kind of role model. You know, me personally, you know, I did not grow up with a mother, and so having a female role model probably would have helped growing up. So that's one thing for sure, because if women mentor younger girls, you know, that'll make a lot of difference for sure.
Definitely, thank you for that. And I know, Eric, you mentioned actually during your, while you were speaking, some women that you know here in College Station, or even specifically on campus, that are breaking the mold. And, you know, but more than just naming names, like what would you say to the women that, and this question is actually to the both of you, what would you say to women that either are currently breaking the mold or those that are trying to get into the position? What, just as a takeaway from the two of you, would you, you know, like to just basically speak to women out there that are either in the position of currently breaking the mold or have done it in the past, or just black women in general, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, the cliche answer would just be to, you know, keep doing what you're doing, but I feel like it's more than that. You know, always take every opportunity you get. Just go ahead and do it even if you're not ready, because what I've been hearing is that a lot of successful people, a lot of leadership, they did all these great things when they even believed when they weren't ready. They took the opportunity when they had it. So I'd encourage all black women who are trying to break the mold to do that. But also, I agree with Bethany, is that you got to mentor, especially black women who are just young and just can't help but like feel so lost at times, just because whether it's their parents or this kind of misogynistic culture we live in as black individuals. And I know I said I wouldn't blame hip hop for anything, but that's one thing I will blame it for, is this misogynistic culture. And a lot of things that we live in, this kind of culture, black culture, it's always either like this kind of R&B or soul or hip hop culture, which is largely misogynistic. So it kind of feeds into our family life as well, because for some reason we just kind of get into this rut. And so that goes into our youth, especially the women, go into the youth where they just feel so lost and they just feel so unheard and feel like they're just unable to do things. And I think for women who are trying to break the mold, it's important to be a mentor to those young women. So I guess take your opportunities, keep doing what you're doing, be a mentor, and just also find a mentor. I just think that's important. Someone who's also breaking the mold, or even a teammate. Find a mentor, someone that you can do it with, because I think there's power in numbers. When two minds who are breaking the mold work together, I think that's opportunity for great things.
I mean, I would say, you know, first of all, thank you, you know, for taking such a strong leadership presence in our community, and to keep doing what you're doing. I know me personally, you know, Asia Holston was, you know, like you said, she was like a great mentor. So I would definitely, you know, commend her for that, and anyone else who's, you know, trying to, I guess, reach the heights that she did, you know, keep going at it, keep working hard, and one day we will all say thank you, like I'm saying thank you to Asia. So.
Well, thank you, Bethany. Thank you, Eric. Thank you both for taking time to be on this episode. We appreciate your input. It's so helpful, and just thank you for being awesome members of the community. People, you're awesome. So we're signing off.
Yep. So thank you all for tuning in to the second episode of Black Script. Just stay posted. Follow us on Twitter, and we hope to see you guys soon.
Yo, my men and my women, don't forget about the dean. This is not the most the king. Yo, it's about a thing. Feel real good, wave your hands